back for Motivate Trust. I don't know how much faith I have in a Leshrac pick, I'll be honest, John. It has felt very, very weak in the recent metas. It is Abed, though, and it does do well up against the Slark. Let's see what they can get done here among us.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I feel like Abed needs to play a lot faster. Like in the series yesterday, Abed had to hang back, he had to farm up. He was on much heavier farming heroes, unlike his more sacrificial, say, Ember Spirit or Void Spirit, or even his... or even his, what is it? Oh god. I got caught off guard by Whitemon, just all capsing Ogre King again. Every time against MG Trust, he just has to type that out to Jackie. I don't know why.
I love Whitemon. He'll just tip somebody and then just start laughing at them. It's just hilarious. Now, I realize they're all part of the same clan. Right? The MY gang or whatever you want to call it, John.
Yep.
I'll tell you what though, in that lobby, it was pretty quiet. They're talking now, but they were very silent in the lobby. So I think both teams, although they're having a laugh now, this is war. No friends in war, John.
Nope. And speaking of, Cuckoo, he pings out Roshan. Whitemon's not doing it, Mike. He's not doing the blessing.
Oh.
This is bad news. He's not doing it. Oh, he's doing it now.
Get in there, Whitemon.
No, come on.
Lewis, look.
He's just taunting here.
He's not taunting Roshan, he's taunting me, John. He knows I'm watching him.
Oh, boy.
He didn't touch it, though. Roshan has not been touched. Interesting.
Yeah. It's
Jackie.
on.
He'll be alright, he'll back off. Jabs will be able to take that bounty. They'll take the 2 for 2.
Yeah, even trade. Surprising that Whitemon does not go for his standard play, so we'll see how that plays in. Still, we're going to have the lane split up. Of course, Whitemon heading down bot. Going to group up with Savage and the Lifestealer. They are going to be up against Q and Masarosa on his signature Tide. So this lane down bot, not going to be a very fun time. Even though the Tide is laning against a Lifestealer, I think if you watch your spacing well enough, just play with your Anchor Smash, slow down that farm, you can still find a steady pace here on the Tide. You might not slow Savage down too much, but Masaros usually doesn't care. He just wants his own early start to be in play.
That is right. You can see Savage already trying to zone Masaros out, but we are going to have a quick pause already. Maybe some internet issues? No, Cuckoo. His hotkeys. Get it sorted, Cuckoo. Back to it. We'll have a look at the mid lane. Fearless. He'll be up against Abed on the Leshrac. It's a much more aggressive lane for Zeus to have to put up with. Then again, Fearless should be able to hold Abed back and shouldn't really lose his tower too quickly, but we'll keep an eye on this mid lane. Abed could be quite dangerous on this Lesh, and we haven't seen this hero throughout the BTS Pro Series Season 3, so it is very hard to know what to expect.
Yeah, it's I think it's shown up once or twice, but again, I don't recall it having too much success. The timings have just felt off. The big spike here for Abed is going to be level 3. You're going to get a little bit more damage. We don't quite see what emphasis he's going for yet. Pocketing it only at level 1 Split Earth. And if you can land that spell, Fearless will not win the trade, but you have to be cautious. The damage over time will favor Fearless, so gonna see if the supports can help them on those power runes as they come up. And looking up top for some of those supports, you've got Jabs and Cuckoo on the Chen and the Centaur up against Jackie and Boombell, and it looks pretty solid so far. Our Slark not lagging too far behind. Cuckoo's still having a decent time as well. You are getting some successful pulls off with Boombell to slow that lane down, but Jabs on the Chen at some point should be really heavy into harassment. I do like that they did block this large camp though, so Jabs doesn't have easy access to get some big creeps his way.
No, he does not. Could go for the D ward, but Jabs has not bothered yet. So he'll just leave it as it is. It's going to give Jackie a nice time, because you do want the wave to push in to your tier 1 tower, because that makes it impossible for Cuckoo. As they go right now, Inkswell is not going to land. A nice stun out from Cuckoo. Jackie's still going to try and steal some stats away, but Cuckoo going to stand his ground and just give it back the way of the Slark. Among Us, it's going to be very important for them to try and shut down Jackie before that level 6 mark, because once he does hit level 6, there's no stopping him. At least in the laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to need to drag your Lesh up to really punish Jackie in that sense. And for the most part, we don't see mids really try to commit that early on. So you're going to, again, watch that timing. I think the more pertinent issue here for Among Us is getting Jabs ready to go. With this large camp block, he's actually not as annoying as you'd expect Chen to be. That's going to limit his rotation at the 4-minute power rune if he's not careful. And it just gives so much room for Jackie to keep trading. I think you've got to be a little bit weary of that spike for Jackie. And Jabs, again, we've got to see what he plans to do. Without a creep, the Chen right clicks are really not that threatening.
No, they are not. Mid lane, Ping's coming out, a nice stun out from Abed. However, there is a wraparound. Q is going to try to go for the toss back, has the avalanche, gets it off in time, but Abed is going to be out of range. Q cannot get the toss back into Fearless. Fearless was quite low on mana anyway. Looks like Fearless actually scouted out that observer ward there. So they knew Q was coming the whole time. Abed, can you get the deny off? No. Nice coordination there from MG Trust. They do manage to get the kill on the Obs Ward, and now the 4-minute power runes is going to be up at the top lane, where Jabs will be protecting it, and Abed will be able to get a full bottle unless Q can make some magic happen, but he cannot. Abed will be there with the Invis rune now, and that'll make Fearless's life a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been a slower lane for Fearless, already lagging behind in last hits, and slightly behind in EXP as well. They're keeping Q to equalize, but again, all this is doing is kind of sapping away from their Zeus's EXP, and of course, giving Savage a freer lane bot. So you've got to watch the time being spent here, and Q does opt to leave. Maybe they get some punishment out onto Jabs.
They're going. Inkswell is there. Jabs trying to survive through it, and Cuckoo's going to come in with a salve up. Jabs still alive, but they can't save him. Boombell is able to get the kill. Now Q going to rush for the 5-minute bounty rune. And looks like Cuckoo will not be able to contest it, and neither will Abed. So Q will be able to steal this one away. Bottom lane, Masaros trying to fight over it with Whitemon, but they do get a 3-for-1. So MG Trust getting one over the side of Among Us. And they are going to take the slight net worth lead just below 1k.
Yeah, it's a slower start for both teams, but a better start for MG Trust. You are giving Savage a lot of farm here, though, and we know that Among Us does emphasize that safe lane farm for their team. So I don't think Among Us minds too much giving away that first blood, losing out on runes because of that middle, though.
Ooh, Fearless going down to Abed solo mid lane, and now Abed going on to Boombell, getting another one. A double kill out for Abed. He just got 2 by himself. There was 3 people in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's not the start you want to give Abed. It's going to let our Leshrac snowball pretty darn hard. He does have the levels in the Diabolic Edict now, so if you leave him alone to shove these lanes, they will melt. Gotta be a bit cautious about that. A little late on the response to help Fearless out. MG Trust is normally a bit more on point with that aid, but
Abed
didn't quite get there.
Oh, Jackie, he copped the stun. Abed, a great rotation out. There was no wards watching Abed's rotation. It's also very unexpected of him to rotate this time. And now with that pretty much level 2 edict, he's going to be able to take down this tier 1 top tower fairly easily.
It's going to be... You do not want to bleed these objectives out if you're MG Trust. Again, that's the entire point of Among Us's draft. Buy space and melt these towers.
He's not done yet, John. He wants Boombell now. Pulse Nova, not going to get anyone. Cuckoo still having a gander, does run into Boombell, but there's the Inkswell coming out. Cuckoo is going to get stunned up, but Abed going back in. They do kill off the Centaur still. The Leshrac moving forward. They'll not get Boombell. He does verify, but Abed eventually getting it now. Q going for an avalanche toss back onto the Leshrac, but it is not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Fearless, he does manage to pick off Jabs. So a double kill out for the Zeus. Going to be a 2-for-2, but more importantly for Motivate, they will protect that top tier 1 tower.
They stop the push out. They at least get a couple of kills in Fearless to kind of mitigate that loss in the mid lane. Overall, I guess you're pretty happy. I'd say that's a draw overall, but Among Us are getting a little bit more because Savage is getting free farm. They do rotate the Lifestealer top, though. They might be looking to keep that commitment up to the top lane, try to keep getting that shove out. They do have, you know, they've got the levels up in their supports to at least be aggressive. You can try kind of shoving it in. MG Trust, they're ready to lose that top tower. They've already got wards watching their jungle. There is a ward here watching the stacks right next to Fearless. He's got to use the lightning bolt to protect himself, but looks like that ward will just slide through for now.
It will. Cast out, they've caught out Q now. That's the one thing for Q. He does love roaming on this Tiny, but you've got to be very wary of the fact that Among Us don't need farm to fight with this draft. They can fight whenever they want. So you've got to be careful not to get caught out by a stun, otherwise you are guaranteed to basically die.
Yeah, it's a good use of that early aggression from Among Us. MG Trust right now still need, I wouldn't say levels, they've already got the Ravage ready on Monstrous, but they do need some items up. Still, they do smoke up. You've got Fearless along with Boomball. They might want to make something happen, but not that strong yet. Gotta be a bit careful.
They do have the Ravage though, right? So you can kill off Cuckoo, assumedly. Thing is, Cuckoo is going to see that smoke. They have a deep observer ward. So it seems like he might be aware of this. Or maybe not. Cuckoo coming back in, but no, he scouts it out now. He knows exactly where they are. MG Trust going to have a bit of wasted time here. They might start posturing for that bottom tier 1 tower, but it is going to be somewhat tough to get through the Centaur.
I mean, they don't push the fastest MG Trust. Their lineup's just not tooled for it. Zeus doesn't get too much right-click damage onto a tower. They can really just shove out waves, but in that sense, Among Us, again, just winning out in time here. They're being a lot more efficient in the jungle. They're getting a lot more safe farm out. I look at Jabs, and he's just about 400 gold away from the mech on our Chen.
Top lane.
At that point, he should have...
Jackie going on to Whitemon right now. Did get cast up for a second. Now the Stampede going to protect Whitemon while Jackie has to Shadow Dance away. Looks like he was a bit afraid that there was going to be some more follow-up here from the side of Among Us. We'll just have to fight it out with Savage.
Yeah, this spacing from MG Trust, leaving Jackie alone top, is an interesting choice. This is not a very safe lane for him. Again, you mentioned it before, but they don't have forward wards. So your Slark is pretty exposed. And they've got to be making better use of the map if they are risking Jackie's farm like that.
Nice pick up there from Q. Fearless will be able to take it with the Thunder God's Wrath, but a great setup out from the Tiny. Of course, Abed was coming in to try and help out, but he was a bit too late, so he'll go back to farming the triangle. Meanwhile, the rest of Among Us, they are going to start forcing in that top tier 1. They should be able to get it done fairly easily with the Diabolic Edict from Abed around. He has got it maxed out as well. He'll go into it. As well as that, I do like the fact that Abed has gone for that Boots of Travel Rush. It is going to mean he can play even more aggressively with the timings of this Leshrac.
Yeah, it's really early bots as well, so his initial farm is most certainly up there. Having a good time so far here Among Us. Slight net worth lead, first tower of the game. They continue to maintain these deep wards, and that just means MG Trust have to play in that bot lane. They need to take that tier 1. Doesn't go as fast. And you can see that tier 2 up top Among Us. They know they could try to pressure it. They get some damage off. They force the fortify. Savage, he's got the armlet up. They can easily go for a big fight now.
They got to do something motivate though. They've just lost their mid tier 1 tower for free. They've got to try and slow this game down. There's not enough time for Jackie to get any items up, and Jackie, he's queued up a Midas. That could be quite detrimental here from Jackie. He knows the draft is going to be trying to push in early on, so he's going to go for the later stage of the game with that Midas build-up. But I don't know if that's going to pan out. Among Us, they are taking objectives real quick. It's a dangerous game Jackie's playing.
Yeah, it's going to delay his timings. I mean, we expected maybe a Diffusal, maybe a fast Yasha into SNY, maybe a Drums coming out to maintain that early aggression, but with this kind of slower start, Motivate Trust has to start looking elsewhere in the map to farm. They do smoke up though. They've got that Ravage sitting, they've got Thunder Gods ready to go, but that was under another Obs ward.
Oh, it was to scout it again. However, Abed still getting caught out in that mid lane. They do take him out. Great kill there, but now the Death Ward going to come out from Whitemon onto Q, and Q is going to tick out to the Melodict. They do at least get a support trade, but definitely not going to be happy with the fact that they just lost their Leshrac.
No. It's not a good trade to have, but at least you get a kind of consolation prize there for Among Us. MG Trust. These rotations are somehow paying off. I think Among Us has to make use of the information they've got on hand when they've got that smoke. Just, I suppose Abed expected a rotation going up top instead. Did not expect himself to be picked off, but you gotta play a bit safer. MG's Trust aren't too far behind. They still have their power spikes here. They only are lagging behind in objectives, so that's the one thing Among Us has to keep pumping out, and they have. You know, they still maintain a shove up top, but they haven't made too much progress outside. I think MG Trust are starting to get some itchy fingers, perhaps wanting to push their average out soon.
Bell gonna get cast up. Masros has the Ravage. He'll come back in now with a great avalanche there for Q. But Masros, he was stunned up. He's gonna go after the Leshrac. No, they are gonna back off. They'll see jabs. He has the mech up. It's a dangerous fight to take. As long as they're holding on to their objectives, MG Trust is gonna be happy. So they'll force the side of Among Us back.
Yeah, again, they just try to maintain control on that tier 2 up top. They are forcing Among Us to constantly clump up for it, so there is some space on the map for MG Trust to farm up. Mainly in their triangle and all the way down in that radiant jungle. They do see jabs, but they just take out the creep army, and again, that's where these supports shine. They can kind of take out those stacks of creeps and just take away the Chen army, get some gold going for themselves, and keep Among Us in check. So still a really even game. 6-5, less than 1k lead for MG Trust. Savage, he's making some good progression though. He is saving up for the Desolator next on that. Lifestealer already has the armlet. After that, it's going to be into the Heaven's Halberd. And if you let Savage free farm, and he has, he's literally not taken part in any fights. 0-0-0 on the board. He's just free farming. If you let Savage do this, then Among Us are still meeting their win condition. It's almost always about the Savage hero, and he is still on a very good start here.
He definitely is. Motivate Trust, they're just sticking together right now, just keeping that farm up. 15-minute banner runes do come up, and it'll be a 2-for-2 there. It's like Masros is going into the Vladimir's into the Blink build, so wanting to get aggressive with his team, they need the counter initiation from Masros. So they know that this aggression from Among Us is not going to stop anytime soon. Though on Cuckoo, you look over to that Centaur, John, he's got the pipe up now. That does mean they can get back to fighting. The nice little advantage with that magic immunity, well, not immunity, but rather block. They'll move up to that top lane, back to that tier 2 tower. However, Motivate Trust, they've smoked up and they're going to wrap behind. Savage is going to break the smoke, but they'd love to pick off this Lifestealer. The thing is, Masros can't ravage him yet. He's got to wait out the Raging Q. Is about to die and will, and now Masros being stunned up with the Death Ward out from Whitemon. He'll go for a run, but Jab's going to catch him out with the neutrals. He can't ravage either. It's just no point in doing so. He will just die. Whitemon able to take that kill. And Among Us now can just go back for that tier 2 top tower.
And that's the issue if you tied into Lifestealer. If you're not jumping in first, then you have to wait through the Rage. It's way too long. It gives Among Us time to reposition themselves. They get some good punishment out. And Among Us now 8-5. They don't manage to do as much damage on that tier 2 as they'd like. Their creep wave is fairly far behind now, but they do wrangle control back in that top jungle. And they get the farm up. Savage finally has a kill under his belt. And things will just go swimmingly. As this pace slows down, I mean, Among Us are still under pressure to find some early towers, yes, but when your Lifestealer is still ahead anyway in the slower pace of game, I don't think you mind too much. It's not like MG Trust has all of their heroes that scale really well. It takes a lot of farm for a Tide to become a late game menace, and they're just going to keep chipping away at these towers slowly but surely.
Masaros going to get open wounded up now. Kuku looking for the hoof stomp, but the Kraken Shell will purge the open wounds. There's your Desolator now coming out onto Savage. But I'll tell you what, John. The Slark being played by Jackie, he's doing a great job. He's pushing out that bot wave, and he's almost got the bottom tier 2 tower. So just by himself, he might get a trade here for Motivate Trust. But here comes Arbin and Whitemon with the smoke up. They get the Yules, they get the stun, but the Shadow Dance was there in time. Jackie now being stunned up. The Pulse Nova will go through the Shadow Dance, and he cannot TP out in time. A great gank up by the side of Among Us. And now with that Slark gone, they can go back up towards that top lane and finish off that tier 2 tower. Or maybe even find Fearless. Abed looking for the Yules up, does get it, but Boombill gonna come in and try to help out. They get the stun. Abed gonna have to back off now as the tier 2 tower is turning back around though. No, they're gonna go for a dive. Thunder God's Wrath comes out. Boombill, he'll go down, but now Q jumps in for an avalanche toss, does get Abed, and now tosses Whitemon back in. The Hand of God does come out with the Death Ward, but it is not gonna be enough to kill off Fearless. A great trade out for Motivate. Fearless, he's going to TP back to the fountain just in case that Melodic would have killed him.
Yeah, it's been a bit more conservative from MG Trust, but they punish the overextension of Abed. Not quite the player you're looking for. I get that they are feeling confident here for Among Us, but you give kills away like that, and MG Trust can easily just bounce back. With those kills, Masaros, he's got his Blink up, and they can go for a Ravage play now as the attacking party. And Among Us have to be a bit careful about that. If you catch a Savage without the Rage, this could be a very good fight to take. Still, in the Roche pit, Among Us are, and that Roche does not last that long with that Desolator.
Motivate Trust, they don't realize it's happening either. It's a big, big steal here from Among Us. And Motivate, they'd love to fight this one out. They will not be able to, however, and once again, for Among Us, they are back up towards that top lane. Fearless will be there to defend and does have the Aghanim Scepter up now, but Abed going to try and cut him off here on the left track, but no, Fearless, a good juke out. We'll get in the fog, and now they'll try to turn back around onto Jabs. That tier 2 tower under siege, but here comes 23 Savage back in on the back lines. Fearless going to TP out of there and might just make it. Masaros going to jump in. He gets a big Ravage off onto 2. Now with the Nimbus and the Avalanche toss. Savage has died. Here comes Jackie onto Abed. The Melodic is going to be there though. Onto Masaros. He needs to turn back around. He's fallen quick. He'll be alright for now. They're still looking to fight. Q back in for the Avalanche and the toss back onto Jabs, but a great stun out from Abed will hold him down. Jabs will survive. He'll salve up. Jackie sticking around, wanting to go back in, but there are too many heroes around. It is just too dangerous. Back to farming for Jackie. But Among Us, they're not done. Abed back into Boombill. That should be a dead Grimstroke, but Jackie's going to come back in to try and help. No, he'll just use his Midas on a Chen creep. That's all he could do.
Yeah, this is the issue with the Midas build up here. I mean, Jackie's got good farm, yes, but he only has an Echo Saber to fight with. That's just not enough to stand and fight safely. He does need the BKB to be up. That does mean they get the tier 2 top. It's been a long journey there, but that will give them even more control on that jungle up top. MG Trust, a few issues coming out. The survivability is just not there. Even Masaros is not in a very good point with his Tide, just easily punished, and they might be able to catch Fearless out here.
He may do good. He's going to commit the Stampede, but does not get Fearless. His Blink is on cooldown, but Nimbus going to be placed from himself. Abed going to come in. Fearless going to go for the TP play and should make it out, unless Cuckoo could make it in time, but no. Gets out of there just fine. Nice preemptive zoning Nimbus to make sure that they really couldn't follow up. And with that time bought, Jackie now has a full Silver Edge up. That's a big deal.
That's going to be really big when he does get into fighting the Lifestealer. Taking away the Feast passive is going to really hurt Savage's durability there. So you've got to watch out for that. We did see Masaros' Blink pay off as well. He really just needs a way to mitigate this magic damage coming out. So the Hood of Defiance, once it's up, should keep that Tide safe. They do manage to take a tier 1 bot though, but that is pretty much a dead lane, so it's not the biggest objective for Among Us. MG Trust, however, could not really find the mid tier 1. Just the Chen creeps alone, and Abed did manage to shove them out, and he might look for something here.
They may. Cuckoo. Oh, he found a stomp. He got Fearless. He got the Zeus, but Fearless going to go for a run here. He's been stunned up. Invis not really going to help him out. They are going to kill him off. Now on to Boombill. Boombill has no way out of this one. Two great pickups there for Among Us. Straight after that tier 2 mid tower, and they might even try for high ground. They want those buybacks out from Motivate Trust. They'll commit. Masaros, he has the Ravage, but he'll need to commit it ASAP. The Kraken Shell helping him survive, and Savage going underneath those tier 4s now. Masaros is too low, but the toss back is going to help from Q. He'll save the days. Masaros back in for a 5-man Ravage. The Thunder God's Wrath is out. They'll try to take the fight now. 23 Savage already gone. Onto Abed. Jackie just stealing stats away from the Leshrac. He'll get one line. into the Aegis Life now, but Cuckoo going to jump back in for a stun. A toss back onto Jabs, a double avalanche. Jackie's hitting way too hard. That'll be Arbit gone. That'll be Jabs gone. Onto Cuckoo, or maybe even Whitemon. They'll take the Witch Doctor instead, and they might just get him. The pounce is going to land. They will get another. Can they get the full team wipe? Q with the avalanche toss once again into Cuckoo. He'll try to TP out. He's going to make it. Jackie just half a second off. But that is a great defense from Motivate Trust. And Jackie, he's starting to hit real hard, John.
That he is. Like, that Silver Edge really just gave him a huge boost in DPS and survivability. The bigger play there was Masaros on the edge. Q with a save really enabled that because they got the Ravage, they got the control, they saw the Rage pop early, and it is a consistent 18-second cooldown. So you know there's going to be downtime once it fades off. You've got, and it's just Masaros taking that opportunity, having his team follow him up. MG Trust, they stay in the game. They still lack tier 2 towers top and mid, but they maintain that network gap to just about 1k their way. They do have a lot of room for growth as well. Like Fearless, he is going for the Blink and the Aether Lens to get the Zeus at safer points, casting his spells at a safer range. Masaros is now working on his Force Staff, so it's much more utility here on our Tide, just ensuring he can get in the right spot to get the team fights going their way. And, you know, everything is just starting to line up. Jackie is just about 1,000 gold away from his own BKB, and once that's up, your Slark is definitely not going to worry about that Leshrac anymore. And Abed, the Leshrac does have some spikes. Like, the moment these BKBs fly in, the Leshrac is just not as effective in teamfights anymore.
Going to the triangle, they found out Whitemon, and now Savage is also there, but they don't want to go onto the Lifestealer yet. They're just happy with the Whitemon kill. Net worth lead going back to Motivate Trust now, and this whole game, it's only been a less than 3k net worth lead for one of the teams, and that was Among Us. I think Motivate, they'll be happy to know that they're holding on, because they do have the better late game.
Yeah, it's really just tempo here for Among Us. Like, the Chen stays irrelevant in terms of healing. The creep army does not, for the most part. It's going to be really easy to melt as the game goes on. You know,
Jackie's
the Witch Doctor as well. And yeah, the BKB is going to make it so hard now to fight into that Slark. He's just going to be able to ignore Abed's damage. And that's been the main thing stopping Jackie from committing for the most part. It's Abed. So taking away that big factor of the AoE spell damage means that your Slark is just going to have free runs in these fights now.
You do have a Halberd up onto 23 Savage though, so Jackie will have to be careful, but he's going to sneak in with the Invis now. Underneath the Sentry Ward, they will stampede. That one Sentry saving the day in Fearless, he knows. He'll get the D ward off. Had that Sentry not been there, that probably would have been 23 Savage dead once again. But MG Trust, with this BKB up on Jackie, they're feeling very confident. We should see a big smoke from them very soon.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure here to start finding these kills while it's fresh, before Among Us can start to itemize as well. Like, you've already got this Bloodstone on Abed, so if you don't kill him off in the BKB timing, you're going to be able to replenish and immediately burst. So this smoke has to pay off in a big way for MG Trust.
Oh, they're going to go after Cuckoo. Or maybe not. They found 23 Savage. Savage going to make a run for it. They won't be able to keep up. Into the mid lane instead. Abed would be just as good unless Savage is going back for farm. Jackie waiting for him. Savage going to deny, but Masaros going to jump in for the Ravage, but a great rage out from 23 Savage. Whew, those are some quick reactions out from the Lifestealer. He only had a split second to make that call, and he did.
And it's a lot of time to give a player like Savage. Like, you need to Ravage right next to him. It has to be the first wave out. You can't afford to take any chances like that. And Masaros, this is one issue with the draft. I mean, they could initiate with a Tiny,
Fearless,
but there's also a window there.
Oh, they caught the Zeus out. A great pickup here for Abed if he can get it, and it looks like he will be able to. Back into the high ground. There is no buyback on Fearless. He had to commit to the last team fight. That's a big loss here for Motivate. Among Us should be able to at least get the tier 3 tower, but it will be glyphed up. Q trying for a toss back, but won't find an angle. Jackie going to be stunned up, but he'll pack it off. Back in from Masaros, but you don't have the Ravage to fight with. It's a very hard defense for Motivate Trust to go into. They need to make it work somehow, though, with the Inkswell. Now back onto Arbed with the Avalanche toss, but he gets healed up all the way. Jabs will keep him alive. Now back onto Masros, but Jackie trying to fight this one out. He is all by himself, however. Jackie needs to get out of there. He'll BKB up. Another Stampede is there. Jackie, he's going to go down without buyback. And Among Us, straight for the T4 towers. They do not want to wait this one out. Q going to jump in, back onto Whitemon. Does get him, but the buyback is going to be there from the Witch Doctor. Buyback from Q. They need to buy more time to fearlessly back up, so Masros will jump in. 50 seconds for the Ravage. It's just going to be way too long. All he can do is Anchor Smash, but Cuckoo, 4-staffing back in. May not have been the play. Q will come in now with the Inkswell. Still not going to be enough, however. Back to those T4 towers. Masros, he'll come back with some more Anchor Smashes, but the Ancient is now exposed. He needs to get in there quick. They need to do something. That Ancient's going down. Arbed, he will have the Edict back up in 5 seconds, but Q is back in with the Avalanche toss and the Inkswell. Arbed, no, 23 Savage. He'll go down to the lifesteal, but Masros is getting low. Here comes Fearless on the Zeus. Is it going to be enough time, though? It doesn't look like it. They have the heals. Arbed will hold them back as Cuckoo, Whitemon, and Jabs will go ahead and get the job done. And that'll be game 1. Going to the side of Among Us. That'll mean they are 1 game away from getting back to the Grand Finals.
Oh boy, what a display from Among Us. Back in form, playing a really aggressive